Hi students, we are now ready to move on to a travel project, and this is actually a pretty big project that will give you a chance to make travel reservations for your boss, who we're going to assume is going to Fort Worth, Texas on a business trip. In Blackboard, you have specific directions. You actually have 2 pages. You have one that gives you all the main details of making the project, and then there's also a grading rubric that you can download. So it's about 5 pages of information. I suggest that you print these out so that you can follow them specifically. So in this project, you are going to be making all the reservations for your boss. If you have never made flight reservations before, now's your chance to learn how to do that. You'll actually be going online to a website of your choice to make flight reservations. So you won't actually make the flight reservations, but when you get to the end where you choose the flight that you want, you'll be using Microsoft Word's screenshot feature to do a screenshot of the flight that you chose. The instructions do tell you that your boss prefers a direct flight, and it gives you information on how much your boss is able to pay for that flight. So you may or you may not be able to find a flight like your boss wants, but if not, you will choose one similar. This is going to give you a chance to research not only how to make flight reservations for those of you who are new to this, but you will also need to research requirements on flying. A lot of things have changed in the past few years. So, for example, what is it that your boss is allowed or not allowed to take on the flight? What size can the luggage be? Is there an extra cost for luggage? Is there an extra cost for other things? So otherwise you do have a lot of research to do. And we are going to assume that your boss knows nothing, that your boss doesn't know anything about flying, and it's up to you to give all that information. Then you also have to make the hotel reservations. So once again, you're going to find the hotel. Your boss is actually wanting to stay at the Omni Fort Worth Hotel. This is a very popular hotel that may or may not be booked. So if it is booked, you have to research and find a hotel similar or a hotel close to the Omni Fort Worth. Once you find your hotel, you're once again going to confirm it and make a screenshot. So you have it up on your computer screen and you do everything except actually make the reservations. And then you have to decide, okay, once your boss gets to Texas, how is she going to get around? How is she going to get to the hotel? How is she going to get to other places? So you'll need to research taxis, Ubers. Is there other forms of transportation in Fort Worth, such as subways, etc.? If you're not familiar with Ubers, this will once again be your chance to do some research on Ubers. You'll also be giving your boss suggestions for other things to do when the conference is not going on in Fort Worth. You'll be preparing a budget, so you'll have to keep track of all cost. The cost of airfare, you need to be careful with that because a lot of times there's hidden cost. Sometimes, a lot of times you do have to pay extra for the luggage. Sometimes you have to pay extra for every little thing, even if you take something on the plane with you. So that does require quite a bit of research. Your boss will be parking her car in the airport, and normally there is a fee for leaving a car parked in the airport, so you will have to research and find that out. You'll also be preparing an agenda. Okay, so OST 110 document formatting is a prerequisite or co-requisite to this class, and this is why. So in 110, if you've already had it, you should have covered agendas. If you're taking it this semester, you may not have yet gotten to the point where you're actually typing agendas. If I'm your teacher for OST 110, I don't cover that until right at the end of the semester. So for agendas, just make sure you research how to properly set up an agenda. You can use your OST 110 book, or you can search online. Just make sure that if you search online that you do get a good format. There's different ways to set up an agenda, and as long as you are using one of the proper formats, I will accept it. You're also going to be writing a letter to your boss. So after you finish everything, you're going to be writing a letter to your boss, just giving her a little background information about how you put this project together. And so once again, your OST 110 class covered how to set up a business letter. So make sure you do follow the proper procedures for that. When you finish this, this will be a decent sized document because you're putting together all the things that I just now told you about. Plus, you're being asked to research the Fort Worth area, make suggestions for places for your boss to eat, make suggestions for things for your boss to do for entertainment. So when you screenshot and put all this together, it will be a decent sized document. It should be saved as one file in Microsoft Word. So you're actually going to be working on your Microsoft Word skills also. Okay, so make sure you're definitely following the paper that you've got to download. It gives you specific information, but then I would also make sure you download and print out the grading rubric. You can go through and mark off to make sure that you have completed each item that you're being graded on. This should be a fun project. It is going to be time consuming. There's a lot of things that you have to put together. We are assuming that you are the administrative professional. And since you're putting this together for your boss, you want it to make it look nice. So I do expect a nice, neat, well put together document. I have two similar travel projects that I've assigned before. And in both projects, I've actually done the real life of what these projects are. So last year, I traveled to Dallas-Fort Worth. It's actually the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, but I actually stayed in Fort Worth, and I was at the Omni Fort Worth Hotel. So I have actually made the flight reservations for this conference for myself. I have been there, so I know the area, so I sort of really know what I'm looking for and what you need to be doing in this project. The other one that I sometimes assign, I have you do travel to go on a trip to California, and I went on that one also. So this is a real good hands-on learning experience. Make sure that you allow yourself enough time to do it. It's not the type of project that you're going to be able to sit down and do in one night. It's going to require a lot of research, but it should be fun. It's also going to require you to email me. In the instruction sheet, I tell you, we're going to assume that I'm your boss. For example, you may have to email and find out what time of the day I want to leave for this trip. You may want to find out, okay, if you're going to make suggestions to me on restaurants, you need to find out what type of food I want. For example, I don't like seafood, so, you're just giving me any suggestions for seafood places. So you do have to have email contact with me. Just make sure you put MIT 217 project or something like that in the subject line, and I will be watching my emails, and I will email you back as quickly as I possibly can. If you have any questions about this project, just let me know. You should have fun doing it, and I know I'm going to have fun grading it. Thank you.